Film Zone 3.0. There's a movie slob inside of you. Let him out and he'll review any movie you want him to. Here comes the new Film Zone 3.0.
Alrighty then.
So you're probably wondering, is this video a joke? How can he say Martin Scorsese's Irishman is the worst movie of the year? Is that a joke? No, I'm sorry to break your bubble, but it's not a joke. I absolutely believe The Irishman is not only the worst movie of 2019, it's also one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And this is coming from me, your boy, Welcome Mathewson, movie slob, movie expert. I've seen 10, 20,000 movies in my life. I know everything about them, and there's no bigger Martin Scorsese fan than me. First thing I'm going to get off my chest is my hatred for Irish everything. Irish people, their food, their culture, their beer, their dancing, and their leprechauns. Those two. I hate anything that has to do with leprechauns or St. Patrick's Day or their shitty horror movies. I fucking hate them. I hate their food. It's disgusting. The only thing Irish is they're good for was, I learned in school and stuff a long time ago, they helped build the railroads with Chinese and all them people and all them slaves and stuff. So they did something good here, and we'll talk about that in another video. So the Irish are not totally worthless, but in my worldview, they are, for the most part, and especially in this movie, because this movie's about an Irish dude, and he is the most worthless human being I've ever seen in the movie. And before all you art snobs get on your high horse and saying, well, that's the point. No, it's not. I'm going to explain why you're wrong. Movie expert, you're watching me, movie slob, okay? I'm going to tell you why, because you're here to know what to think is what I tell you to think. I had to drive to New Orleans, which is an hour and a half from here, to see this piece of shit movie. And even there, it wasn't playing at a real movie theater. It was playing at this old ass fucking one screen movie theater that's 100 years old. Okay, and you're probably wondering, well, why is that? Well, that's not so bad. Yes, it is. It's worse than you can possibly imagine. So we get to this theater and I'm already pissed. I get my ticket. I'm with my brother and stuff. But then it gets really bad. Walk in the door. Right when you walk in, there's a concession stand that's about 5 feet wide. There's one popcorn machine and one soda machine. They got nothing. They got absolutely nothing. I've never been so disgusted, disappointed, and pissed off in my life. Half the reason I go to the movies for the food, because you can't get it anywhere else. Well, I can get this shit anywhere else. It was shitty popcorn and soda and basic bitch snacks. They had frozen pretzels and candies and stuff. Let me just tell you something else. This was like stepping into a time machine, like back in the 30s or 40s. People back then were a lot smaller. So now it doesn't make any sense. They should have put something on the website that said that they don't cater to normal sized people like me, fatter people, because this theater was like stepping into a time machine. It was like stepping into a dollhouse. Walk-in theater, no stadium seating. This is a legit old theater. There's no stadium seating. It's those old-fashioned rocking rickety chairs that are like this wide. The place is packed. There's no reserved seating. So now me and my brother's kind of big too. He's not as big as me. Now we're going to have to squeeze in between people and find a spot. There's no handicap seats. It was unbelievable. Tiny screen, tiny little seats, and we finally found a place to sit down and put down my small popcorn. There's no cup holders, there's nothing. And when I sat down in the seat, it kind of like my fat sunk in and like locked me into it, like, so I couldn't get up. There's no getting up now. Like my fat spilled through the empty sides of it and kind of locked me in there. And I'm in the chair. The movie's about to start. The lights haven't gone out yet, but I was crying on the inside. When the movie starts, I'm gonna get to the details. But just trust me, they're coming. So I'm in there with my brother. He's kind of enjoying his pretzel and stuff. I'm just nibbling my popcorn. I'm looking around. My tits are on each armrest. And there's like a girl sitting next to me and her hand is like touching my tit. And she's grossed out by it. And everyone's very uncomfortable, the people sitting around me. I'm used to having a lot of room. So this girl's holding my titty and my brother's holding my other titty, and we're sitting there, and I'm starving. They don't have any concession food. Everybody stinks and looks like a weirdo. And on top of all that, I got the shits. It's hitting me pretty hard because I had that jalapeno omelet at Denny's right before lights go out. Finally, the movie starts. It's got this long shot, like a long, pretentious shot with this stupid old music playing. And we're walking through, the camera's walking through like a nursing home. But I'm sitting there thinking, it's just a nursing home. You're not impressing me, Martin Scorsese. He tried to do this with the Goodfellas too, and the nerds will try to say, oh, the Copa banana shot, when they go through the restaurant, it's one of the best shots ever. No, it's not. It never has been, it never will be, and neither is this. This is just a nursing home. It's a functioning nursing home, and he's walking through it. The Copa banana shot from Goodfellas, I love Goodfellas, but the shot's stupid. It's just a restaurant. They're walking through a restaurant, a functioning restaurant. There's a couple actors that are positioned to wait to say one line or to put a table down. That doesn't mean it's a good shot. He's just walking through a fucking restaurant. If you've ever worked at a restaurant before, like I have, put a fucking GoPro in your head and record yourself going to work. You're the new fucking Martin Scorsese. Congratulations. So we got this masterful opening shot of old people in a nursing home. But I thought I was coming to see a good movie about killing mobsters and all that good stuff. Right out the gate, you're not getting that. You're getting boring, pretentious, long shots of assholes in nursing homes. Before we get to the nitty gritty nuts and bolts and shit about what this movie's about, just remember on the surface or whatever, this movie's just about two gay guys. Joe Pesci plays the most boring, pointless, gay character in history. He's supposed to be a badass mob boss, but he's just some boring gay guy. He falls in love with Robert De Niro's character, the Irishman. And that's a stretch to even call him a character. He's not a character. Look, we're going to have to talk about this. This movie was worse than The Hobbit. The CGI, I didn't know they were going to be having Hobbit CGI stuff up in this movie because these people look ridiculous. And I mean, like, it's unwatchable. Everybody in this movie is a fucking Hobbit, Peter Jackson's a dungeon troll CGI nightmare. The main guy, Rob De Niro's Irishman character, he looks like the captain from the fucking 1010 movie. Okay? Actually, everyone in this movie looks like they're from the 1010 movie. It's ridiculous. And speaking of the Hobbit, which, the gay elder troll, mob boss, whatever, Joe Pesci, whoever he's supposed to be, I mean, like, he gives the Irishman some ring, just like in Lord of the Rings. It's supposed to be like a ring of power or something, but the ring does absolutely jack shit. It's just one other fucking loser troll CGI nightmare face giving another guy a ring. I don't like to complain a lot on my show, but at least give me a fucking character that I can relate to or something. If he wants to lecture me for 4 hours about like glorification of mobster movies or whatever, I got that already. In the last 5 minutes of Casino or the last 5 minutes of Goodfellas, I already got that point 30 years ago. Don't need to do a 4-hour movie trying to lecture me. I need a movie with characters that I care about, some that have arcs, some that go through things. Things need to happen. Let's do a quick recap of what's happened so far in this movie. We start with guy's 100 years old in a nursing home. Then he's telling a story about when he was 70, like a couple years before. And then it does a flashback within a flashback, and he goes to being from 70 to like 30. But when he looks supposed to be 30, he looks 80. So there's a flashback from when he's 100, talking about when he's 70, supposed to be 30, but he actually looks older than the second flashback. So this is like Inception shit. It's like a dream within a backstory, within a riddle, wrapped in an enigma of bullshit CGI. I can't keep up with what's going on. I don't think anybody could. I don't know how normal people like this movie are figuring it out because I don't know what's going on. These Dagos are going on a road trip to a wedding for whatever reason. These crusty ass old cigarette bitches have to keep pulling over to smoke so that the two homos can sit back and remember stuff about when they first met. Like, the movie literally spends all this time, like, they come across the old gas station where they first met. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see any of this. This is not interesting. But then it flashes forward again. Now he's back and he's like, Robert De Niro is stealing steaks for some other asshole that we don't care about. So this movie's about cigarettes and trolls and stealing steaks or something. Horrible. Every minute there's a fake blood splatter or a fake window breaking. Like, everything's fake. I don't understand. There's even a shot where they're chopping up a body in a wood chipper. And the shit coming out of the wood chipper is animated CGI crap. No wonder this movie cost $150 million. There was a couple shots where I saw where there's a car just driving down the road and he animated exhaust coming out of it. Cars have exhaust. I don't understand. Did the exhaust not look fake enough? All that shit aside, effects, the way a movie looks, that's not everything. Because I like some movies that look like shit, and I like some movies that have some horrible CGI in them too. But that's it. That's the whole movie. I can just show you one thing. Most cringeworthy scene in movie history. That's what it is now. Whatever Ed Wood did, or that guy who made The Room, whatever, they've been topped. This is the worst, because it's from Martin Scorsese in the year 2019 with Robert De Niro and $150 million. Just watch the scene. It's just beautiful. I'm not even going to commentate about it. Just watch it.
Let that be your lesson to you.
I'm the census taker. Where were you born?
Lake Winnipesaukee.
The thing about this movie is it's unintentionally funny. That scene was so bad I was laughing hysterically, but at the same time it kind of triggered my loose bowels, and I wanted to walk out to take a shit, but I couldn't. I told my brother don't worry because he's worried about me, because when I get the shits I start sweating really hard, and my titty was dripping and stuff, and the girl next to me was really freaked out, but I just kept telling myself, okay, we can do this. I sat through The Hobbit at 60 frames per second. I've sat through way worse movies than this. 4 hours is a lot, but it's okay. Just find your happy place. Let's do this. At least the bare minimum. We just saw the worst scene in movie history. That's like historic. Something to tell your grandkids about. I'm thinking it's hard to pay attention to what's happening because nothing's happening. How do you watch a movie where nothing happens? And now there's this litany, just over and over, stand-up comedian rejects making cameos in this movie. I couldn't believe it. Now Everybody Loves Raymond is in the movie. That fucking mumbling Muppet reject horror show of a comedian, Raymond whatever, everybody loves. I don't. I fucking hate him. And he's in this movie, and he's in it a lot. I know you love Robert De Niro. We all love Robert De Niro. Maybe he's a little too old to be, playing a 30-year-old, because he's 80 in real life. Just off the top of my head, I'm just shooting shit ideas to you here. Maybe you should have actually used the young actor Leonardo DiCaprio you're obsessed with for this movie, because your CGI nightmare face thing doesn't work, and it's insane and confusing. The Irishman in this movie, not only does he look like a Tintin movie character, he looks like Maniac Cop mixed with like Toy Story or something. I don't understand what's happening, how you think this is a good idea or that this is passable. Hire some other fucking people, you know what I mean? And speaking of things that look like total shit, did you see those opening credits? I think Martin Scorsese did those on Microsoft Paint. Congratulations, bud. You really lowered the bar. Usually Martin Scorsese does cool titles or something, but I guess it's like punk now to make Microsoft Paint titles because they look like shit. Every time you zoomed in on one of your characters that no one cares about and explain how they died, whatever font you chose, it just all looks horrible. It looked like something I would have made. So yada, yada, yada. Nothing's happening. Now the Irishman is a hitman for some reason. He has a beautiful wife and kids, but instead of just getting a normal job, like at a factory or something, and like being a dad and spending time with his kids, he like decides to be a hitman for the mob. I don't care. Let's get to the real crux of the movie, which is this guy named Jimmy Hoffa. I never heard of him, to be honest with you. Never heard of Jimmy Hoffa. People reminded me about the mystery and the disappearance and stuff, but they keep saying all this shit about how famous he was. I'm not 100 years old. They said he was more famous than the Beatles. Sorry, I'm pretty sure Jimmy Hoffa didn't write Hey Jude, so he can go fuck himself. So it turns out this Jimmy Hoffa guy is head of some union thing, which I don't understand any of his stuff. I don't understand unions or working or anything like that. I don't work, because here's the thing people don't know about working. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, okay? And I came up with this, so make sure you quote me on this. There's this old saying that if a man finds a job that he loves, he never has to work a day in his life. Well, I figured out a long time ago that a man that doesn't find a job that he loves also never has to work a day in his life. Because I don't do anything and I love it. I'm just as happy as a guy who's working that's not really working, that loves what he does. Just remember that. Okay, so all this stuff about union and working and hard stuff, I don't understand any of that. I don't understand why anyone would want to get a job that they hate and enslave themselves to a family that they don't even get to see. Have fun with that, which gets to the point of the movie. The ultimate point of The Irishman, I guess, is like we talked about before, is that crime doesn't pay. It's about like not glorifying mobsters and stuff and how they just end up alone and old at the end. I guess that's the point of the movie, but I didn't get that. Like, to me, I like I said, I got that in his other movies. This is not a movie. This is an abortion. So ultimately, I was desperately trying to find a point of this movie. The only golden rule I learned from this movie, moral or ethical point, is that if you're in a position of power, shut your fucking mouth. The Irishman guy supposedly is a liar and none of this stuff is true about his side, but with the Jimmy Hoffa thing, that is all supposedly true. And for 20 years, this whole movie, for 20 years, he runs his mouth off after the 30th time that the CGI face trolls try to warn him to stop talking, to just shut up. Because I don't even know, honestly, I don't remember why he won't shut up. Because he gets out of prison, and instead of just retiring with his money, he wants to like take control back or whatever. It doesn't make any sense. The people he works for that control whether he lives or dies are pea-brained, guerrilla, Italian fucking retards. They're thugs. And they're very clear. They live a very simple lifestyle. Do what we say or we kill you. And they keep telling him, they keep warning him. So like after 30 times of them warning him to stop or we're going to kill you, wow, mind blown, they actually did it. Spoiler alert, Jimmy Hoffa dies in this movie. Now, I really don't know anything that much about him. I never heard of him and all that stuff. But then after this movie, my brother was telling me about it's one of the greatest mysteries in American history. Are you serious? The disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa because they don't really know, they never found the body or whatever? You can't be serious. There's no mystery whatsoever. He ran his mouth off for 20 years and he got whacked. That's how all of these stories end, these mob stories. Guy ran his mouth, he got whacked. They never found the body. Yeah, they cremated him. How is this a big American mystery? Have you ever heard of Bigfoot before? You ever heard of Area 51? Have you ever heard of the Blair Witch Project? Real shit happened. Real scary shit. There's all kinds of haunted houses and things that can't be explained and stuff, and ghosts and aliens and stuff, and especially Bigfoots and chupacabras. And this is supposed to be like some great mystery. It's just one of these another part of history that old stupid people exaggerate and they think's interesting, but it's not. And in the end, the Irishman, who was never a character to begin with, who was never a person that anyone cared about, is now all alone and dying in his nursing home, and he's completely forgotten. So if he's completely forgotten, why are you reminding me? Why do you think I care about some forgotten asshole who on his deathbed lied about something he didn't do just so people will remember him? Martin Scorsese, you're part of the problem. Making a movie about a liar that's not even interesting is just you're building up this world of bullshit now that people like me have to suffer through for 4 hours. And as I said earlier in this movie, I didn't need a 4-hour CGI nightmare face, sausage party, bore fest, piece of shit movie to remind me that crime doesn't pay. Okay? Like I said earlier, I got that from your other movies way better. So the movie finally ends. Robert De Niro's in a nursing home all by himself, and it's supposed to be sad unless you've ever been to a real nursing home in real life and had to visit someone that is real and that you actually care about. Then that's not sad at all. It's actually pathetic compared to real life, because I go visit my grandma in the nursing home all the time. That's horrific. That's really gut-wrenching sad. If you feel anything for this guy by the end of the movie, then joke's on you. Because you're fucking stupid. Yes, you're dumber than me. And I'm not even that smart. I don't know what's going on sometimes. But most of the time I do. That's why people come here. So the movie finally ends. I've never had to shit so hard in my life. For the last 20 minutes of it, I was completely suffering. And like the movie ends, there's a few people crying, which I couldn't believe. Some of them start clapping. The guy with the top hat and the white bow tie, he's clapping. I'm still stuck in the chair. Luckily, the girl next to me, she takes her hand off my tit that was on the seat thing. I'm trying to get up. I told my brother, I'm sitting there struggling. First, I got to get this love handle through this hole, and my ass is stuck in this thing. And the cherry on top of the shit sundae, that was this whole experience, it just went. I didn't fart. It wasn't something didn't trigger it. I just shit myself right there in the chair. Just completely let it all out. There's nothing I can do. It's not one of those things where I can like slow it down or try to stop it or whatever. I just shit myself right there at the end as the credits were rolling, the lights came up. And my brother, he ran off gagging, which is, I understood because all the stuff I had at Denny's with the jalapeno omelet and cheese fries on some nasty stuff, and it smelled really bad. People were choking and gagging and stuff, and I'm just sitting in it thinking, wow, I'm covered. I'm sitting in shit. My fat is stuck. I'm trying to get the fat out of the chair to stand up and kind of shake my leg loose and get some of it off before I go to the bathroom. But you live and you learn. You live another day to learn the thing that you learn, because the last couple times I've done this, I told you, now I learn from my mistakes. I carry around extra pair of shorts in my trunk. So if you guys like The Irishman, tell me in the comments. Shoot me a shout out message, whatever, why you liked it. I didn't. I think it was horrible. I think it's obviously the worst movie of the year. I thank everybody for tuning in and watching. This is Film Zone 3.0. Stay tuned. I got a lot more coming. I hope that you enjoyed the video. And if you actually like The Irishman, well then, may God have mercy on your soul. Till next time, guys.